Hey everyone, What If Fan here, bringing you another exciting part of What If becoming a mangaka in One Piece world. You can find the fanfic title and the original author's name on my Patreon page. Make sure to check it out and show them some love. If you enjoy the video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and ring that notification bell so you never miss an upload. Also check out my Patreon channel for early releases of all the series, where you can find all the series released one day ahead of YouTube. Alright, let's jump into it. Chapter 541, Readiness. Rayleigh enters the stage. One Piece events. I'll have those women stuffed, and I'll turn those men into slaves with nothing but skin and bones. While the celestial dragon Roseward was thinking aloud about how he would deal with Luffy and his companions, he didn't notice someone falling directly on his head. Kaiōwa! Usopp thought that the pain of the fall was inevitable, so he screamed, but fortunately, he felt nothing but something broken under his butt. Father! Princess Charlia couldn't believe what she was seeing, first her elder brother, and now even her esteemed father being abused by the Straw Hat Pirates. Ow ow ow. Gay. Sorry, mister. Usopp didn't know the identity of the person he just fell onto, but he knew he had caused a great deal of damage and sincerely apologized. It was an accident, after all, and not intentional. But in the eyes of the spectators, it didn't matter whether it was intentional or not. Even Saint Roseward. These pirates just dug themselves even deeper. They're all insane. Luffy, where's Kami? Asked Usopp. Over there. As soon as we get that bomb off her neck, we're getting out of here. Battleships and an admiral are coming. Luffy pointed to Kami, who was in the middle of the stage, before speaking with impatience. Usopp felt terror upon hearing that an admiral was coming. The Marines are already here, Straw Hat. At that moment, a new voice spoke. Who are you? And what's with the bear? Luffy turned around to see a young man wearing a yellow jacket with black sleeves and tattoos on his hands, along with a spotted hat. However, what caught Luffy's attention the most was the bear behind the man. The Marines have been here since the auction started. They've surrounded the auction house. Trafalgar Law continued to speak. Really? Exclaimed Luffy. After all, they have a headquarters right here on this archipelago. As Law said, it became evident that there were Marine soldiers surrounding the auction house. I don't know who they wanted to catch, but I'm sure they never dreamed that someone would actually attack a Tenryubito. You're Trafalgar Law. Luffy, this man is a pirate, said Robin after recognizing Law. Foo. You've shown me something interesting, Straw Hats, laughed Trafalgar Law. The bear, too? Luffy was still curious about what was going on with the bear, sitting like a human. North Blue, Flevance Island. Trafalgar Law that will be born in this world might be vastly different from the original Law from the manga. The butterfly effect has been set into motion, not only affecting Law but also altering the destinies and even the birth times of most characters who appear in the original manga but have not yet been born or are born in this manga era. This phenomenon occurred due to the direct intervention of Rob and his extraordinary ability to steal the lineage of others and make it his own, guided by the eye of the mangaka who can perceive and correct plot lines. Nevertheless, it is still referred to as the butterfly effect, whether the intervention is direct or indirect. What Rob didn't anticipate was that Chris and Mary would recognize Trafalgar Law as their son the first moment he appeared. If it weren't for Rob's presence in this world, Law would have already been born by this time, but with Rob's interference, which burdened Chris with significant responsibilities, such as being the President of the Republic, the timing of Law's birth was slightly delayed. At this moment, the couple was discussing an important topic. What do you think happened for our son to choose to become a pirate? Mary asked her husband anxiously. I don't really know, but I'm sure of one thing, Chris replied succinctly. What is it? It definitely has to do with Lead Amber. You see, Rob doesn't exist in the manga except as a ghost protecting his daughter Robin from heaven. This means that there is no cure for Amber Lead's disease, then you can expect the worst, Chris explained calmly. That's right. I almost forgot about this matter. Law looks completely healthy and devoid of any signs of amber lead, so what might have happened in his past? I really want to know. Mary no longer cares about the plot or defeating the celestial dragons, all she is interested in is learning more about Trafalgar Law's background. Even though his fate in real life will certainly be different from what it would have been in the manga, both father and mother still wish to see it. Little did they know that when the right time comes and they see with their own eyes what they currently desire, they will regret this wish. They will want to rewind time to this point so as not to wish for it, just to avoid seeing it, but no regrets will do them good at that time. Nonetheless, they are fortunate that this is still in the distant future. And what's up with the bear? Just like Luffy was curious, Mary feels the same. How would I know, laughed Chris. Maragoa. Very brave, daring to hit a celestial dragon, the last person to have done such a crazy thing was Rox D. Zebek. But the celestial dragon remained vindictive towards him until it caused his death. Even someone like Zebek died after provoking a celestial dragon. So what do you expect will happen after this? Do not forget that in the world of manga, there is neither Rob nor his organization of hunters. For sure, he will suffer, all his crew will suffer. I don't think they will die, but the consequences of hitting a celestial dragon are something that can already be imagined. At this moment, the five elders were discussing the current situation in the manga. They never expected to see a celestial dragon being attacked, and even after being declared descendants of the creators of the world, they are still being challenged, first intentionally by Luffy, and then unintentionally by Usopp. But even so, this did not greatly affect their current mood. Everything became predictable as the events of the manga progressed and accelerated. Beating a celestial dragon, although unacceptable, is much better than killing one. Who do you think the admirals will send to carry out the punishment? At this moment, the voice of the most mysterious woman in this world spoke up. I assume Sengoku will send the fastest among them when he hears about the situation, so I bet it will be Borsalino. Saint Nashiro calmly answered his lord's question. That monkey who ate the light fruit and got the last ranking among the three in the training classes because of his lack of hard work, well, that would be enough to drive them to despair. I want to see that. Fufufu Imo laughed slowly as she continued to turn the pages of the manga. When she took a look at the old man with glasses who had reappeared and what he had done, she couldn't help but reassess the situation. According to Garp, this man was a living legend, like Whitebeard. So it is possible that one Borsalino is not enough. Ohara. Yahohoho. I have finally arrived at the event venue. Without me, Brook, every reader will feel that something important is missing. Brook unabashedly praised himself, but it didn't bother Vegapunk and the others. After all, Brook had some truth in his words. After all, who's the one who will ask the female celestial dragon to see her underwear and make the whole world burst into laughter? Of course, Brook. This celestial dragon wants to kill Kami. Hey, Brook, do something. Kami hasn't done anything wrong. She's a cute and innocent mermaid. Homing was very sad. Every time a celestial dragon does something bad, his identity as one of them comes back to haunt him. It seems that both Usopp and Robin and Zoro are already prepared, so there's no need to worry, Clover said with a smile. Oh, what happened? Why did she suddenly fall to the ground? What's this tearing up the auction logo? It's old Rayleigh again, and that giant. Ha 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 ha. Incredible. He sold himself at the human auction for real money. Strong people have some strange fetishes already. Chapter 542, One Look Causes Many to Faint. One Piece Events. Die, you damn fish. Charlia, the daughter of the celestial dragon Roseward, pointed her gun at Kami, who was trying to defend herself with her hands. Seeing this, Usopp, Robin, and Zoro prepared to intervene at any moment to rescue Kami. But before they could take a step, Charlia's body trembled, her eyes turned white, and she collapsed to the ground. Princess Charlia. You see, my dear giant? This place is completely messed up, said a comely old man stepping out from inside the theater, followed by the giant he was conversing with. The auction's over, and I've stolen their money. Looks like it's time to do some gambling. You're a pretty sneaky old man. Where did you get some money? Asked the giant. Well, I was hoping to steal some more from whoever bought me. As he said that, the old man drank sake from his metal flask. Just think about it. Who would possibly want an old man for a slave? Wahahaha. At the New World. Wahahaha. Having an old man like you as a slave, really, can one consider it a blessing or a curse? On the Aro Jackson, Roger laughed heartily after witnessing Rayleigh's entrance scene and his recent words. Well. I didn't know that retiring would lead me to this situation. I had decided to remain a pirate until I die. Is that so? Wahahaha. This is amusing. Look, even the giant was shocked. It appears to be the first time in his life witnessing someone selling themselves for money, considering giants live for such a long time. Garararara. The esteemed Dark King being sold as a slave. This can't even be deemed a black joke. If my manga counterpart were to hear about this, he might die of laughter before his illness does. Oh, even you, Newgate? Wahahaha. At that moment, only Roger and Whitebeard dared to tease Rayleigh, while the rest of the two crews suppressed their laughter with great effort. Oh, it seems Rayleigh is finally getting serious. Roger's smile widened as he observed the unfolding events, and the rest of the people on the ship shared the same sentiment. Rayleigh, too, wore a smile this time, his eyes reflecting the familiar grin of his manga counterpart as he made a recognizable gesture. Oh. He used a bit of his conqueror hockey, said Roger, smiling. Garararara. It seems Rayleigh has decided to flex his muscles evidently. The upcoming events will be even more exciting. Laughed Whitebeard. Will you take on the responsibility of safeguarding the seeds of the new generation, Rayleigh? This time, Roger asks a serious question. HM? Looks like we're getting attention, said the old man as he noticed many people staring at them in astonishment. What's with that old man and giant? Aren't they auction items? How did they get out of the cage? How did they open the locks? What do we do? What? We're not trained to capture people. And we don't stand a chance against an unchained giant. The auction men felt even more headache, just the thought of how to put the giant back in the cage gave them shivers. Little did they know that the old man was much scarier than the giant. R.A. Rayleigh! Exclaimed Hatchon. Eh? That's the coding guy. Which one? Chopper was surprised. Oh. Is that Hatchi? Hey, it's been a while. What are you doing here? Where did you get that wound? Seeing Hatchon, Rayleigh was pleasantly surprised, but he quickly noticed his injury. No need to say it. Rayleigh stroked his beard while looking at Kami as if contemplating something. Humph. He glanced at the celestial dragon Charlos, whose face was disfigured from Luffy's punch, and then back and forth before speaking again. I see. In other words, you've gotten yourself in a real mess, Hatchi. He looked at Luffy and his crew before asking with a confirming tone, you guys helped him out? Well then. As soon as he said that, an immense pressure descended upon the auction, emanating from Rayleigh as the epicenter and washing over everything on the horizon. With the exception of Luffy and his companions and a few individuals like Law and Kid, all the auction men fainted. What? What did he do? Usopp was shocked to see people dropping like flies despite nobody touching them. Who is that old man? Sanji was equally taken aback. Zoro was left speechless as well. That straw hat. For the first time, Rayleigh looked at Luffy, his eyes hiding a mixture of surprise and peculiar anticipation that went unnoticed by others. After all, he recognized that straw hat. Suits a fearless man. I've been wanting to meet you, Monkey D. Luffy, he said, smiling. Ohara. What is this power? It's the same power that red-haired Shanks has. Oh my god. He just looked at them, and they dropped with one glance. This is incredible. It's just like Shanks. Or is it more correct to say that Shanks is the one who is just like him? I feel goosebumps. From now on, I'm a Rayleigh fan. Hey man. Don't underestimate old men. They can knock you out with one glance, just like Rayleigh-san did. He, this is fun. He looks majestic and powerful. Is this the strength of the second man in the Pirate King's crew? If Rayleigh is so strong, how strong is Roger? He said that he had always wanted to meet Luffy. That's interesting. Readers enthusiastically discussed the events of the last scene of the chapter, which caused enthusiastic chills for almost everyone who witnessed it. Doflamingo stared at Rayleigh's face with a big smile before placing his hand on his forehead and laughing as he recalled the day he awakened this power. Fufufu, this is Haushiko Haki, the king's haki, the qualifications of the king, just like me, he owns it. But, how can a king serve under another king wholeheartedly? Here, Mingo felt confused for the first time. Sabaody Archipelago. Inside the art store, Shaki was looking at the manga with a smile on her face. This old man looks more sexy than the current Rayleigh, Fufufu. White hair gave him a wonderful splendor. So this is what your first meeting with the Straw Hats is like, dear Rayleigh? That's fun. Shaki continued reading the manga until the chapter ended in a way that made her more excited than ever. One looked to eliminate all the mobs. My dear is very strong as expected. At this moment, Shaki wished to see Rayleigh's reaction to the current flow of certain events. Chapter 543, Admiral Kizaru is on his way. Part 1. Back on Jiangu Island, the atmosphere remained festive as news spread about Capone Beach, the boss of the Capone gang, discovering his appearance in the manga. Who is this old man? Rayleigh. The Pirate King vice captain? What is someone like him doing at a human auction? Could he be sold as a slave? What a joke! How disgusting! If I had been born a fishman, my fate would have been just as bad as theirs, but fortunately. Is he going to confront the celestial dragon? He actually hit him, it's unbelievable. What's wrong with this crazy crew? Unbelievable. They've already faced off with Admiral Akiji in the past, don't they know that being chased by an admiral means the end for them? Thank goodness I don't have the recklessness of Straw Hat Luffy. Otherwise, I'd be imprisoned in the notorious Central Prison with my father by now. This power. Is this what they call hockey? Why don't I possess it too? My life would have been easier against those damn hunters if I had it. All the while, Capone Beach was completely absorbed in the events of the manga. The more he read, the more his excitement and tension skyrocketed. Boss! Look! You've appeared again, and this time it seems like you're trying to escape, confronting an admiral's face. So what? Who the hell would want to face an admiral in paradise? One Piece events. Sabaody Archipelago, Lawless Zone. This is awful. This town is in trouble. The entire archipelago is in danger. The pirates placed their hands on their heads and shouted with terrified expressions drawn on their faces. Straw Hat Luffy attacked a Tenryubito. They were at an auction house on Grove 1. He did what? Kid and Law were there, too. On the side of the fire tank pirates, Capone Beach was extremely tense at this moment. How's the coating of the ship going? He asked. Completed yesterday. We're launching for Fishman Island immediately. We can't handle an admiral coming down. Beach immediately declared that he wouldn't stay here and wait for the end. Sir. On the other hand, the captain of the Jewelry Bonnie crew was annoyed after hearing the news. That freaking moron. His captain is an idiot, too. By saying that, Bonnie was referring to Zoro. If I see them in the New World, I'll kick their asses, she exclaimed. In the Sorbet Kingdom. Ha 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 ha. Our little princess is merciless. You really want to kick their asses? Will we really see that happen someday? Maybe. But the one who will be kicked in the ass is our little Princess Dash. As soon as he said that, Ivanov felt a suffocating pressure from Kuma's gaze, so he quickly withdrew his words. Enfufufu, I'm just kidding, Bonnie is so strong. She can really kick anyone's ass just by turning him into a child or an old man. Kuma glanced at his child, who was excited about her reappearance, and said, "It seems that your counterpart in the manga is ready to try to escape from the Admiral's clutches, otherwise, how will she confidently say that she will go to the New World?" "Dad, is the New World really as scary as they say about it?" "What's scary about it is its strange weather, and the pirates are already out of time. Let's see, if you mean the New World in the manga, it must be really scary, but not anymore for our real-world counterpart. A new world with almost no pirates, undoubtedly, this is a positive change. One of my dreams to achieve was the reason that prompted me to form the Revolutionary Army, but it was achieved by Rob, and I'm happy for that." This time Dragon spoke with a smile. After hearing the explosive news, even the most fearless monk felt their madness shrink. "What a troublesome crew," said Urge, referring, of course, to the Straw Hat crew. Now, he was completely sure of it. After feeling the intense shock from the news of the upcoming war, another piece of news startled Drake and his crew, making them eager to escape from there as quickly as possible. "Everyone, work on preparing the ship for sail," Drake commanded. "Yes, sir." "Right away, Captain Drake." "Now. Who's going to come?" Drake wondered about the admiral who would be coming. Minion Island. Inside the Pirate Barrels pub. So far, only 2 admirals have appeared out of the 3 whose names have been mentioned, right? The first to appear was Admiral Akiji, immediately followed by Akainu, but that was when they were still vice admirals during the famous Ohara incident. Akiji then appeared, as the first real admiral in the story, in Long Ring Long Land. The admiral named Kizaru remains. He's the only one who hasn't shown up yet, so I'm assuming he's the one who's coming this time. Having said all that, Barrels drank his wine from the large wooden pestle in his hand at once. His pirates looked at him in amazement, even his son Dory was in shock. "Captain, did you take drugs? How can you analyze it so cleverly? This is amazing, Captain." "But Captain, isn't that what the person called Odachi said in his tweet a little while ago? Before the man finished his speech, Barrels threw a wooden cup at his face. "Shut the fuck up. Well, my son, your counterpart in the manga is in trouble this time. Since you were in the Navy and defected to the ranks of pirates, the next admiral must tear you apart for treason. That is if you really betrayed them." Hearing that, Drake fell into a meditative silence for a moment. Tens of thousands of meters above sea level, the festive atmosphere on the sky island of Burka was no different from that in the Blue Sea. Fufufu, what a mess. It's all because of Straw Hat Luffy. Due to his thick plot armor, he'll come out of it unscathed. But what about us? Well, I'll pray for our innocent souls. After all, this is the admiral we're talking about. Anyway, whatever the outcome, I will be satisfied if the Straw Hat Pirates suffer as much as we will. Urge was well aware that the protagonist of the story cannot lose badly. Fate must find a way out for him from somewhere. The situation's how it is. They're not going to just round up everyone they see, right? They'll be after Straw Hat Luffy. The on-air pirate crew gathered under the leadership of their captain, Scratchman Apu, who had just spoken. After all, even he didn't want to be chased by an admiral, despite saying, "I kinda want to see what an admiral is like." As always, the curious cat got killed, and Apu would later discover this. "Apu, what are you saying? Let's get out of here." Hearing that, his crew members broke out in a cold sweat. If their captain truly acted on what was going through his mind, they would undoubtedly be buried here. Not far from Apu's crew, the Hawkins crew was in the same situation, but with a captain as calm as still water. "Captain Hawkins," shouted the crew members. It was evident that they had heard what happened, and they urged their captain to make the decision to escape. "Calm down. Today isn't my day to die," Hawkins replied. His crew members wanted to cry, but there were no tears. They all had the same thought: it's not your day to die, but hell, what about us? You have all our lives within you, don't you? We are the ones who will die for you, damn it. Of course, they didn't dare to say that out loud. Long Ring Long Land Island. Inside the art store. Tunjit looked at the members of his tribe, who were having fun reading the manga, and then turned his head to look at the strange men with long arms. Strange. Didn't they notice that the kid with the man is Scratchman Apu? Tunjit muttered under his breath before returning to delve into the events of the new volume. Yo-ho! My son is really not afraid of the Admiral. Why would I be afraid of him, Oyaji? Isn't my counterpart in the manga a supernova like Luffy and the others? Apu was still an 8-year-old child, so his ideas were that simple. Don't get cocky, Apu, even if you are talented. Without a doubt today will be the day when your manga counterpart will get his first setback. At least his father had some insight. Yellowstone Island. What? Is there something on my face? The blonde boy with a pale face asked the young girl who was looking at him with narrowed eyes. Your counterpart in the manga is interesting. He hasn't even been afraid of the Admiral, right? His sister named Archa laughed sarcastically. If he said that he will not die today, it means that he will not die, so why fear dash? Before little Hawkins could finish his words, he was drowned out by a crowd of newly appeared fanatical fans. You really are Basil Hawkins at this childhood age. I want an autograph. And me too, please give me an autograph. Are you his sister? Beautiful little sister, can you ask your little brother for an autograph for me? All day long, the brother and sister kept running from fanatical fans one after another. These fans had one thing in common, they all admired the mighty pirates. Chapter 544, Admiral Kizaru is on his way. Part 2. One Piece Events. Holy Land Marigoa. It's that brat again. At this moment, Sengoku was massaging his temples as his head was throbbing after hearing the news of the assault on the Celestial Dragon at such a critical time. Again and again. There's something wrong with that entire family. Reports indicate that, along with the Straw Hat Pirates, the pirate Eustace Kid and several of his crew, as well as Trafalgar Law and members of his crew, are there. The high-ranking official continued to provide information on the current situation at the auction house. In all, 13 pirates with bounties have been confirmed, and 5 of those are rookies with bounties over 100 million. Of course, the primary offender is Monkey D. Luffy, who caused harm to one of the 10 Ryubio. Communication with the garrison at the human shop. No, I mean the public employment office has been cut. We believe they've all been taken out. More importantly, with 3 Tenryubito taken hostage, this is a disastrous situation, the likes of which we've never seen before. After hearing all that, Sengoku sighed and asked the Commodore. Have they made any demands? No, not yet, replied the Commodore. Whatever the case may be, the fact remains that they attack the world's nobility, there's no way that we can't respond. Sengoku, at this moment, a third voice came from the side. The owner of the voice was wearing a cloak with the word Admiral printed on the back. Kizaru, said Sengoku. I'll go. And I'll be right back. Please be at ease. Half of the face of the Admiral called Kizaru appeared. Marine Ford. Phew. So the one who's going to go this time is you, Borsellino? As expected, the moment of your appearance has already come. Boahahaha. At this moment, Garp burst out laughing. Everyone looked at him with confusion. What are you laughing at, Garp? Sengoku asked with an angry expression on his face. Boahaha. Every time I see you in the manga, you always complain about my family members. Luffy seems to have caused a huge amount of damage to your manga counterpart, Sengoku. I'm really sorry about that. Those bastards from my family are really crazy. The first became the leader of the revolution, and the second wants to become the Pirate King. Sengoku, I assume that your black hair will completely turn white in a year or two because of my family members, waha. Garp was laughing, and tears were splashing from his eyes. It was clear that he was mocking more than apologizing. And do you call this an apology, Garp, you bastard, exclaimed Sengoku. On the side, Kizaru was not interested in harassing Garp as usual for Sengoku, because today is his day. He finally appeared in the manga. Only half of my face, the moment of my full appearance will be majestic and completely magnificent. It seems that the shining moment of these rookie supernovas will end in my hands. Sigh, it's not by hand a trick after all, I'm an honest marine just doing my duty. Hearing that, both Sakazuki and Kuzan snorted. Lucky bastard, just because you're the fastest, you get a chance to show off. Anyway, it's good that they only sent you. Otherwise, if I'm sent, then this manga has to be finished early because of the death of its protagonist. No expression appeared on Sakazuki's face indicating that he was joking while saying that. Sigh, what a nuisance you are, Akainu. Well, say, how do you plan to end the story with a legendary pirate like Rayleigh beside to Luffy? How do you plan to bypass him? Borsellino asked with a sneer on his face. He looks very old in the manga. It will be a difficult battle, but in the end, justice will prevail. The Dark King will drown in my magma. As if that warm spring of yours could burn even the clothes of a super hockey expert like Rayleigh, wahaha. Kid, don't have to be cocky yourself, why not bet again? Even though Garp is focused on making fun of Sengoku, he can still hear the nonsense that these young admirals are saying, so he takes another chance to take away more of Akainu's fortune. Get away from me, I don't want to bet with you anymore. Sakazuki's response was very fast this time. Or did he want to lose his entire fortune to this obnoxious old man? Not far from the Marines HQ, in the domain of the gods within the Holy Land. At this moment, the commotion caused by the 10 Ryubitos had exceeded what Figure Len Garling, the leader of the God Knights, could endure. Damn you, you disgusting worms! He couldn't help but curse those celestial dragons who had lost their sound judgment. In all his life, he had never seen a celestial dragon rejoice at seeing another celestial dragon being beaten by a common mortal. This was something he did not expect to see even in his wildest dreams. But what was happening before him now? Ha 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 ha. Ah ha 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 ha. Kai hi hi hi. Shi 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 shi. All sorts of strange laughter could be heard from those celestial dragons who had lost control and were laughing hysterically after seeing the bastard named Charlos being beaten by Luffy. Damn bastard Charlos. Get what you deserve. How dare you try to buy a kami and shoot the gentle fishman Hachi? An angry celestial dragon roared. Good punch in the face. I will remember it for the rest of my life. This is such a satisfying feeling. I never thought I would feel such relief after seeing bastard Charlos get beaten. Ha 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 ha. There's no doubt your family is so lucky, Roseward, to have earned the hate of Luffy and his buddies. The celestial dragons surrounded and harassed Roseward from time to time, causing him to wish he could dig a hole and hide underground away from these scoundrels. Oh, it seems that the person who is going to deal with them is Kizaru. This is good, with his speed, he will ensure that no one escapes. Seeing the appearance of Admiral Kizaru, a mocking smile appeared on Garling's face. Just an admiral is enough, if one of the Holy Knights is sent, this manga will end early. At that time, there will be no entertainment for us world nobles. Chapter 545, Doflamingo's involvement in slaves trading. Sabaody Archipelago, Grove 1. Disco stood before the human auction house, once flourishing under his rule but now reduced to ruins. Every day, he would come here, searching through the wreckage of his former auction, only to leave disappointed. The auction house, which he had painstakingly built, was now a thing of the past due to the actions of ruthless hunters. Not only had his auction house been leveled, but other ones involved in human trafficking had also suffered the same fate. Today, however, was different from the previous days. Disco knew that it was all over. Why did you spare me until now? Were you planning to make an example of me? He uttered, not talking to himself. Behind him stood 5 hunters, dressed in their uniforms. The guild master's orders were clear: apprehend him when the time is right. Maybe witnessing the consequences of his sins from a different perspective will lead to repentance, one of the hunters explained. Hearing this, Disco's body trembled, and tears streamed down his face. He was crying, but the hunters behind him remained unmoved by his display of emotions. Emmanuel Disco, you are under arrest. Do not resist. Any movement or aggression will be used against you in court. You have the right to appoint a lawyer, and if you cannot afford one, the court will provide one for you. You are charged with crimes including human trafficking, murder, rape, and fraud. Disco felt a powerful force immobilizing him, rendering him unable to move or speak. One of the hunters, possessing a devil fruit ability, had activated his power to manipulate the air around Disco, turning him into a human lock. As the manga book slipped from Disco's hand, the moment he tried to grasp it, it fell open. The hunters paid no attention to its contents. Within the manga's pages, a familiar face appeared, Don Quixote da Flamingo, smiling cunningly. One Piece events. Sabaody Archipelago, Grove 1, Human Shop, Backstage. Phew 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 phew. The strange laughter echoed from the Den Den Mushi. This is no laughing matter. Isn't this your shop? Exclaimed Disco. Ha! Ha! Mr. Doflamingo, where are you? The shop's reputation will be tarnished, and considering St. Rosward's family, they'll likely blame us for this. You have to do something. Foo foo foo. You know. The human trade is already old news, idiot. Disco was surprised to hear that. We're in the age of smiles. Don't call me again, Disco. I'll leave the shop to you. Foo foo foo. What? You're just going to abandon me? In the midst of the worst disaster we've ever faced dash. Shut up. You're a pain in the ass. Doflamingo interrupted harshly. While you were blaming me for your own misfortune, a new era has been drawing closer, Disco. Disco. Right now, No, right now we are being recalled by the Marines. The scene shifted from Disco's location to where Doflamingo was situated. Doflamingo was enjoying a sunbath while sipping a cold drink. How? Do you see this playing out? A wicked smile appeared on Doflamingo's face as he continued, the Whitebeard Pirates versus the Royal Shichibukai. At Elbaf Island. So he's already been arrested? Well, good job, keep apprehending all those who were involved in evil deeds in the past. Don't arrest people who haven't done anything yet. Maybe the manga will be their chance to repent. As soon as he said that, Rob disconnected and put his iPhone 14 Pro Max back in his pocket. In this world, he would make sure to gradually bring back the so-called communication snails to nature and replace them with something more practical, mobile phones. He was just waiting for the right time to ask Vegapunk about developing it. After all, no matter how formidable his 2 trillion art points are, it will not be enough for him to buy phones for everyone in the world. It is better to return this world to its technological roots, especially since phones are considered a lost technology in this world where they were popular 800 years ago. This evil man was the one behind the slave trade. Isn't he Shichibukai Doflamingo? He looks like a typical despicable person. Hearing the giant's sarcastic comments, Rob shook his head and sighed. He's my disciple, guys, don't swear at him. At O'Hara. Fufufu, it looks like my reputation is going to take a hit again. At this moment, almost everyone in the art store was staring at young Doflamingo with mixed emotions. Who doesn't know Don Quixote Doflamingo in O'Hara? Despite being just a 15-year-old teenage boy, he was a big shot. Not only was he a high-ranking A-rank hunter with great potential to become a legendary hunter in the future, but he was also a disciple of Rob. With this identity, no one dared to show any signs of displeasure on their face, even if it appeared in the manga that Doflamingo is the real one behind human trafficking. Human trafficking? This is the least expected thing from my manga counterpart, Fufufu. I'm sure the next one is worse. So let's just have fun, said Doflamingo with an evil smile on his face. Brother, it's okay, it's okay. After all, the events of the manga have nothing to do with our reality. Rosinante thought that his brother was feeling down, so he hurried to console him with words. Yes, Dofikuan, this person in the manga does not represent the current you. You are the leader of the 3 stars, the most promising team of hunters in the guild. Whoever dares to disrespect you, I will stun him with lightning for you. Enel was excited about the idea of stunning someone. Fufufu may be experiencing some drama in this life isn't so bad after all, this manga I like may become my real enemy in the future. He the Whitebeard pirates versus the Royal Shichibukai? Could there be a war after all? It seems that we are in for some really exciting events. Who do you think will be the winner, huh? In the treacherous waters of the New World, a momentous revelation unfolded. This kid, he's the real boss and the mastermind behind Disco, Whitebeard remarked, astonishment etched across his face. What does he mean by this is the era of smiles? Strange, why do I sense something disgusting from this word, contrary to its meaning? Roger pondered, his brows furrowed in contemplation. Look at this, guys, Rayleigh called out, drawing everyone's attention. Garararara. Wahahaha. Doflamingo's last words sent ripples of amusement through the crew, and both Whitebeard and Roger burst into laughter, their hearty voices resonating across the ship. The Whitebeard pirates versus the Royal Shichibukai? Marco questioned, a glint of excitement in his eyes. It seems that the war is inevitable. Ha ha. I have to find Big Brother Rob and urge him to hurry up and draw the story. Shanks exclaimed, enthusiasm brimming within them. I want to see the events of the war right away. I'm so excited. And so am I. We'll surely defeat the damn Navy. The high spirit of the mighty Whitebeard pirates soared to new heights, their determination to face whatever challenges lay ahead unwavering. Chapter 546, Removing the Explosive Collar with His Bare Hand. Amidst the unfolding events of the chapters, numerous questions surfaced in the minds of the people. Is this the Navy we once believed in to protect us from evil? Are these the Navy we used to pay taxes to for protection from pirates and mercenaries? Why do they allow the existence of such a place where human beings are compromised? Isn't the enslavement of human beings evil? Are these the celestial dragons, the rulers of the world? Why do they look so repulsive in form and character? First, the merciless destruction of Ohara, where thousands of innocent lives were lost for no apparent reason, and now this. I never imagined talking insects in this world, let alone ones who have power over us. I wonder, do they wear bubbles on their heads because they refuse to breathe the same air as us humans? Why use a poor human being as a mount when they have two healthy legs? This is beyond my comprehension. Why must everyone who sees them kneel before them? Are they truly descendants of the gods? For goodness sake. Do you think the gods would give birth to such scum looking like that? The situation in our world is not right, something is wrong. What really happened 800 years ago, I wonder? These Navy bastards. I despise them. They amassed such a huge number to surround the auction, yet, when my village needed just one Navy ship to drive out the pirates, they were nowhere to be found. The pirates wreaked havoc and escaped successfully. Do you believe you're a celestial dragon, man, that the Navy would send troops to rescue you? In your dreams. Around the world, readers were overwhelmed by their intense emotions as the manga One Piece gradually revealed the reality of the world government and the Navy. The revelations continued to build up until reaching a critical point, the exposure of the celestial dragons and their treatment of humans, formerly concealed and practiced on a small scale but now known to all. In short, people across the world grew to hate the celestial dragons fiercely. Centuries of grievances had accumulated, and their impact could not be underestimated. The Navy and government personnel turned red and green with anger and frustration as they faced insults and curses from the public at the World Forum. At this moment, Sengoku and the five elders knew that they had suffered yet another defeat, a complete and undeniable loss. As for Imu, she remained unaffected, laughing as if nothing bothered her. Go on, my dear, I want to see more. Let's see where this leads. In the end, the strongest and smartest shall prevail, Imu thought. And so, she continued to turn the pages of the manga with curiosity. One Piece events. Any word from headquarters? Asked the rear admiral who was leading the soldiers to besiege the human shop auction, inquiring one of his men. Admiral Kizaru is on his way, replied the soldier. But the troops accompanying him. He added. The rear admiral felt relieved after hearing that, but upon hearing the second half of the soldier's report, he was shocked. Those things are coming here. Yes. It looks that way. Returning to the scene inside the auction house, Papag was shouting with tears streaming from his eyes. Oi, Gramps, don't be reckless. It's gonna explode. The slaves' collars explode. We've seen it ourselves, exclaimed Chopper 2. I saw it too. That collar really is bad news, added Brooke. It's all right, just stay still. Rayleigh placed his hands on the collar around Camie's neck while reassuring her with gentle words. No. We told you, you can't take it off without the key. Pippa asterisk asterisk asterisk. As soon as Rayleigh touched it, the explosive collar made a dangerous sound, as if it was about to detonate. It's already sounding. What are you doing? Goosha. Asterisk. But at that moment, Camie heard the sound of breaking, surprised when she realized what had happened. The others didn't hear it, so they were still tense. We're done for. You won't make it in time. Camie. After breaking it, Rayleigh threw the collar away, then boom. An explosion occurred. It came off. Nami was shocked. Hey! What was that? The collar and cuffs are already gone. Look. I found the keys and everything. Frankie felt that his efforts were in vain, so he was not pleased. Thank you. Camie thanked him for doing it for her. Oh, good work. But it's fine. You, take this girl, said Rayleigh, smiling. What the hell was that? What's going on here? Who the hell are you? Frankie still didn't know anything about what happened after Rayleigh appeared. What? What did he do? That old man did something weird again. Usopp asked, shocked. He took off the collar with his bare hands. Even Brooke was shocked by the recent events. In the depths of the sea, Fishman Island. This is strange. Tom massaged his chin, his face showing surprise. What's so weird about it, Tom-san? Iceberg asked. Even little Frankie was paying close attention, eager to hear what his teacher had to say. Frankie, could it be that even the memory of your manga counterpart was partially damaged in the sea train accident that hit you when you intercepted him? Wondered Tom. Huh? Why do you think so? Little Frankie was confused. That's because this may not be your manga counterpart's first encounter with Rayleigh. Have you forgotten? When they came to Water 7 to repair the ship at that time, we met with the Roger crew, including Rayleigh. I'm sure this event must have happened with your manga counterpart as well, so this might not be your first meeting with Rayleigh, so why didn't you recognize him right away? Tom explained his confusion. That's right. But I don't know. Frankie and Iceberg understood the underlying matter after their teacher's explanation. He took off an explosive steel collar with his bare hand, very strong. What a remarkable old man. I never thought that elderly humans could be so strong. From today on, I admire Rayleigh. Thanks for saving Camie, Rayleigh Dono. Fishmen and mermaids were overjoyed to witness a happy ending to the Camie kidnapping incident. In such difficult moments, positive emotions easily prevailed among emotional individuals. In his debut, Rayleigh won the admiration of all readers of different races, especially among the slaves in Maragoa. This strong guy disguised himself as a slave, and it seems like it wasn't his first time doing so. Therefore, he must be more familiar with the real suffering they experience. Chapter 547, The Three Captains Against the Navy. One Piece Events. They're coming out. Get ready. The Marine soldiers pointed their rifles at the auction house entrance where three young men had just appeared. Those are the three captains. Their advance guard is coming out. On the right, there were 300 million, 315 million, and 200 million. At that moment, the three captains stood together in a rare scene. You guys can just stand back, Luffy said as he squared his hands and stared at the Marine soldiers. I thought I told you two to stay back, Eustace Kid replied arrogantly. If you try to order me around again, I'll start with you, Eustace, Law said, clearly disliking Eustace Kid's arrogant attitude. Mortars. Fire. Upon hearing the orders, the soldiers fired their cannons at the three pirates. Gomu Gomu! Balloon! Luffy transformed into a massive balloon, deflecting the cannonball from his body back towards its owners, causing an explosion. Seeing this, Kid pointed his hand simply at the cannonball, and some strange electromagnetic sparks appeared from his hand. Repel! After uttering the name of his technique, the cannonball came to a halt in mid-air and returned to its origin. Room! Law didn't stop the party, instead, he moved his hand, forming a small whirlwind beneath his palm. In the next moment, a blue bubble covered the cannonball that was heading toward him and one of the marine soldiers. "What the hell is this circle?" exclaimed the marine soldier, who realized he was within the range of the blue bubble. Though Law didn't move, he sliced the air with his sword, and then the magic happened. The marine soldier's head was severed from his body. "You wah! Shambles," said Law. "Ha!" The cannonball was replaced with the head of the man Law had previously cut off. "Iya!" Strangely, the decapitated head of the man was still alive in Law's hand, but he quickly felt the pain of his body burning in the flames. "Go wah! Be careful! The cannons won't work on these guys," exclaimed one high-ranking marine soldier. "All three of them have devil fruit powers." Inside the Pangaea Palace, in the Holy Land of Marigoa, Imu attentively watched the three captains who were bullying the mob with their abilities. A smile appeared on her face as only two abilities caught her attention. Could it be that even the author himself has not yet known the truth of Gomu Gomu no Mi? That would be interesting. The most annoying opponent in the world previously for me was this particular devil fruit. Imu turned her gaze from Luffy, who was thought to be a rubber man all the time, to the dark-eyed guy. "Ope no mi. So this boy is the user of the most useful devil fruit in recorded history? His role in this story will certainly not be simple. How is the search for these two fruits going on? Is there any news?" Imu looked at the five elders who were sitting below the throne and asked. Hearing that, St. Marcus Mars responded immediately. "The search for Nika fruit and Ope fruit is still ongoing. Their whereabouts are still unknown, Imu-sama," Mars replied in a depressed tone. "Well, forget about finding the mythical Zoan fruit because it has its own will. It's practically impossible to catch it. Even if we get it in our hands, we might lose it the next day. But the Ope fruit is very important. I heard Robchan is looking for it too. Maybe he already realized the secret behind it. I can't even imagine facing an opponent like Robchan who having an undying life like me. That would be ironic. I'm still relieved because I'm not his only enemy. His real enemy is time. As long as he gets old and dies, I won't feel any discomfort. He can do whatever he wants in the human lifespan. Ha 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 ha." For the first time, Imu revealed why she is not worried about Rob, as she is a person who lives forever, making mortal beings insignificant to her, no matter how strong they may be. Unfortunately, she didn't know that Rob is already immortal. If he's looking for the Ope fruit, it's just to make his immortality meaningful. Marine Ford. Those little bastards, buahaha. Even without hockey, they still cause a lot of trouble. Garp wrinkled his nose contemptuously as he glared at Luffy, Kid, and Law. They think they're strong and everything, right? Well, soon they will see what real power is. They will learn how to write the word despair. Sakazuki had a fierce expression on his face as he stared at the youths, arrogantly displaying their scrap powers. Even he, the owner of a Logia-type devil fruit, Magu Magu no Mi, had never behaved so arrogantly at their age. "Arara Sakazuki, it seems that you are really upset because of the events of the manga. Are you sympathetic to Saint Roseward and his family?" Kuzan said sarcastically. "I just hate pirates." "Ahem, shut up, guys, let's talk about what's important now. Don't be distracted." At this moment, Sengoku intervenes. Gomu Gomu no Mi, a Paramecia-type devil fruit, gives its owner a super rubber body. Not a big thing, but since it is the devil fruit that the protagonist of this story ate, it must have a hidden secret. Sengoku returned to stand in front of the whiteboard that he had personally placed there to explain some of the things he understood to his subordinates and to make it easier to deal with what the future might bring later.
Does an ordinary paramecia fruit really have some secrets on it, Sengoku? So wouldn't my washu washu fruit have some secrets on it too?
Suru said with a calm expression. Personally, she did not think that there would be a secret of some kind on the rubber fruit.
This and this are completely different, Suru-chan. What gives the rubber fruit the premise of having a secret behind it is the person who ate it. Is that understandable?
Next, Jiki Jiki no Mi, a paramecia-type devil fruit, too gives its owner a supernatural ability to manipulate magnets, although it is also not a big thing without having junk around, but it has the power of self-generating electromagnetic energy. Since its user is standing side by side with the protagonist of the story, he may have some important role in the future.
Very annoying, this young man looks arrogant like a prick in the ass.
I'm looking forward to seeing my counterpart in the manga wiping the floor with his face.
Orsolino was extremely unhappy every time he saw this kid acting.
Sengoku shook his head and continued, the next fruit for me is the coolest devil fruit, which I'm pretty sure is a big secret, given that it's the most expensive devil fruit in history, and even the celestial dragons are after it every time it appears. Although with the appearance of Brooks fruit, this rating may change, but nevertheless, Opop no Mi is still at the top of the paramecia type.
Due to its miraculous ability to cure any kind of disease by separating it directly from the body. It may even have the ability to fight aging, and this is truly miraculous. In any case, these three young men are special since the author chose to show them together in such a scene. Chapter 548, Is he really Kuma? Why is this chapter titled Kuma? Could it have something to do with you?
In the kingdom of Sorbet, where the revolutionary army usually gathers, Dragon glanced at Kuma, who was sitting not far from him and asked, referring to the title of chapter number 505 of the manga.
Maybe. Kuma replied with a lifeless expression as if he had already foreseen something.
Well, Kuma was one of the best analysts of the One Piece manga, but he didn't share his hypotheses on forums as Sengoku did.
Otherwise, he would have been more famous than him. Strange, why do I have a feeling that this is not Kuma? After finishing reading the chapter, a peculiar sensation overcame Dragon and the others.
They all had the same feeling, there was something peculiar about it.
Even though this person resembled Kuma quite a bit, they couldn't pinpoint why they felt he wasn't the real Kuma.
This guy is not me, Kuma spoke at that moment.
His words deepened the doubts of Dragon, Crocodile, Bonnie, and Ivan. One Piece events. He's attempting to take Saint Rosward's slave. How did he manage to undo the chains?
The Marines who witnessed Law liberating the huge slave, bound near the auction as if a guard animal, were utterly astonished.
Will you join me, Pirate Captain Jean Bart?
Law asked after using his ability to free Jean Bart from his explosive collar and handcuffs.
It's been a while since I've been called that. If you release me from the Tenryubito, I will gladly pledge my loyalty to you.
Having spoken those words, Jean Bart immediately launched an assault on the Marines, already considering himself a member of the Heart Pirates from that very moment.
Foo.
Well, I'll take half the credit.
The Straw Hat crew deserves some recognition too.
By this time, the Kid Pirates had already departed from the auction scene.
They're still pursuing us. Even after we destroyed the bridge?
Of course, even if we return to town, the Marines will be waiting for us there.
Let's leave the island now.
Suddenly, Kid felt something amiss, a sense of danger. He was attacked by a scorching yellow laser beam, narrowly escaping fatal injury at the last moment.
UWAH. Kid. Captain Kid. Over there. It can't be.
The members of the Kid Pirates were shocked to see the identity of the person who had just assaulted their captain.
Why?
Why is there a Shichibukai here?
Kid's expression darkened as he recognized Bartholomew Kuma. In the South Blue, in the Samba Kingdom.
Upon returning to this place, two individuals became engrossed in every subtle detail the manga revealed about a new character who had made an appearance. And this new character is none other than Eustace Kid. The reason for their interest was not arbitrary, it was because Kid shared a striking resemblance to the Dew, from the husband's last name to the wife's facial features and hair color, leading them to speculate that he could be their future son. Though the couple had not yet confirmed whether Eustace Kid was indeed their offspring, it didn't deter them from closely following the events related to him, especially after the recent scene in the manga. "What on earth is this? Is that Bartholomew Kuma?" exclaimed Eustace Rod upon seeing Kuma's sudden appearance. "This wasn't unexpected, dear. We saw Kuma's name in the chapter title." "I just hope Kid makes it out of this unscathed." Asha anxiously bit her lips. Could it be that the Navy has dispatched other Shichibukai, along with Kuma and Admiral Kizaru, to deal with the rising pirates? If that's the case, how can they survive? Surviving the clutches of Bartholomew Kuma alone would be highly improbable, not to mention contending with an admiral and other formidable figures. The island of Jaya in the Grand Line. Is that? Perhaps it's just his resemblance. But he's so imposing, like a fierce animal. Focus on his face. There are some differences, though. He appears at least 2 decades younger than his portrayal in the manga, but he's still unmistakable. He's looking at us. How intimidating. Sure, let's not speak too loudly. But I've never heard of Jean Bart before. Inside the art store, a large crowd had gathered from different parts of the Grand Line, all with the same purpose, reading the One Piece manga. Jean Bart was there not for any other reason. He, too, was an avid manga reader. Most of the time, he visited Jaya because it was the closest place with an art store to his island. However, what Jean Bart did not expect was to see himself in the manga today. Pirate Captain Jean Bart. Tenri Ubito St. Rosward's slave. Trafalgar Law. Is this my future? How intriguing. The man's eyes darkened as his earlier speculation was confirmed. It wasn't that he failed to recognize the owner of the massive body bound next to the auction house. He had noticed the resemblance all along, becoming even more evident in the preceding chapters. Yet, the certainty struck him only when his name was mentioned. Damn, all those celestial dragons! Jean Bart growled with deep-seated hatred. On the sea of the New World. At this moment, the pirate ship of the Big Mom pirates was sailing toward Whole Cake Island. My body still trembles every time I recall that godlike pressure. How can one person be so overwhelmingly powerful? Mama's Conqueror Haki seemed like child's play compared to what we faced at Elbaf. I thought I'd collapse if Rob-sama desired it, Perorin. You would have perished if that was his wish. From the moment I laid eyes on him, I couldn't see any future ahead. In this moment of reflection, Katakuri, who had remained silent, spoke up. What's that? Before Perispero could finish his question to Katakuri, his den mushi began to ring. He answered immediately, aware that his mother was calling. Mama. I'm sorry, but... Perispero was sweating, struggling to find the right words to explain what had happened to his mother. He knew that informing her they could no longer return to Elbaf would undoubtedly provoke her anger. Facing his mother's wrath after already enduring his father's anger, or rather, Rob's anger, would be a tragic and unjust fate for him. Mama. Just return home, my dear children, I have something to share with you. But his mother's joyous tone left him perplexed. Chapter 549, Heart Pirates and Kid Pirates vs. Bartholomew Kuma. North Blue, Flevance Island. Inside the art store. What a peculiar bear follows law. How can there be a talking bear that behaves like a human? It could be a human eating a zoan-type devil fruit, or it might belong to an animal race. Is there such a race? Tell me, my dear, did you know before today that there was a human race with long arms? And all those strange races mentioned in the list of slaves? Regarding the mention of the slave list, a race called minks was also brought up. Beepo is probably from the mink race. Oh. That is indeed possible. Oh my God, our dear Law has also caught the attention of Bartholomew Kuma. This doesn't bode well. He attacked him right after he announced his name. That's peculiar. Now we have a team battle, with the Law and Kid crews combining forces against Bartholomew Kuma. Who do you think will win? Will they manage to escape, my dear? Undoubtedly, both Chris and his wife Mary were completely engrossed in the events of the manga. On the back of a huge moving elephant, on Zo Island. Beepo, his name is Beepo.
He is the first mink to appear in the manga.
I'm very envious. He seems to be enjoying his journey with Trafalgar Law very much.
This reminds me of our journey with Odin-sama.
Sigh, the journey of Odin-sama must have already ended, perhaps he has become a shogun by now. Both Nekomamushi and Inuarashi regained memories of their time with Odin as Akazaya and his pirates when they saw Beppo in the manga. Well, Beppo seems to be in trouble, along with his captain, Law.
Kuma caused a desperate life-and-death crisis for Luffy's crew. It's hard to overcome. How will they be able to escape from this storm? I'm looking forward to seeing that. One Piece events. Grove 8, Hound Pet's base.
Peterman lay down in his blood, his face devastated and obviously badly beaten.
Mr. Peterman. Hang in there. Are you still alive? Peterman. Damn it.
Those guys. But who knew that Duval was so handsome under his mask?
See you. Really, call me for anything at all. Until you all safely depart for Fishman Island, will be your arms and legs. Duval wanted to wink, but he didn't know he was doing it, so his good looks went unheeded. Okay. Thanks, you guys. Exclaimed Luffy. Just stop winking already, said Sanji.
Ah, also, Miss Mermaid, that bastard Peterman had this.
Duval returned the Kami backpack to her. Ah. My backpack. Thank you. Kami thanked him profusely.
Let's go, rose-colored Life Riders.
Yes. Handsome Rose. That name changes a lot. We're looking for one that fits perfectly.
He left the Flying Fish Riders after successfully evacuating the Straw Hats from the auction house.
Maragoa. Ah.
That despicable Peterman has finally been dealt with. I wanted to see the Flying Fish Riders beat him to a pulp.
He looks like a dead dog. Ha 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 ha. I'm dancing with glee. Happy. I am so delighted. Every debt has a debtor.
I've been longing to see this scoundrel suffer.
Whatever it is.
It's satisfying to see him in this bloody situation.
Well done, Duval. Duval is indeed handsome.
The celestial dragons were jubilant after witnessing the dire situation in which the person responsible for all this chaos had finally received his punishment.
Although the real punishment he deserves is death. Bartholomew Kuma seems to be following government orders like a mere tool, though he didn't execute them perfectly last time.
Seeing Kuma getting in the way of Kid and Law made Garling re-evaluate this Shichibukai who chose to transform himself into a war machine under the world government's control.
But could there be more than meets the eye?
There's something peculiar about it. For instance, why did Kuma decide to turn himself into a cold machine in the first place, and is he the only one? The last question was not voiced by Figureland Garling out loud, it was all in his mind. Well then, let's carry Hatchan inside, said Rayleigh, who was carrying the wounded Hatchan on his back, pointing towards the bar at the top of the stairs.
Hachi needs to get some rest, said Chopper. Shaki's rip-off bar. Hey Shaki, I'm back. Oh, Ray, welcome back. That was quick. Monkey-chan, you guys did well finding him. After opening the bar's door, Shaki was surprised to see Rayleigh and the others. Looks like Hachi's pretty injured.
Get him in the bed, quick, said Rayleigh with concern.
Oh, no. What happened, Hatchan? Shaki was also shocked.
The Oro Jackson ship glided smoothly towards a nearby island, with Moby Dick also accompanying it on this journey. Eventually, the two ships came to a halt near the grassy edge of the island. The members of both crews began to disembark one by one, setting foot on solid land and inhaling the fresh air of this untouched, human-free island. Rayleigh still held the manga volume in his hand, and his face remained adorned with a continuous smile.
It seems that your counterpart in the manga finally met Shaki, and by calling you Ray, it seems that you are very close to each other, wahaha. Roger slapped his colleague's back and laughed.
Stop bothering Rayleigh, Dear Rouge whispered to Roger and playfully pinched him, although it didn't hurt him at all.
Oh, it looks like an exciting conversation between you, Luffy,
and his buddies are about to begin, Rayleigh.
Let's see what happens next. Chapter 550, Vice Captain of the Pirate King. One Piece Events. Ha.
On the Pirate King's ship, exclaimed Luffy after Rayleigh revealed that he was once on the Pirate King's ship.
Yeah, I was the vice captain. The name's Silver's Rayleigh, nice to meet you, Rayleigh answered with a smile. Hatchan, didn't you tell them? Asked Shaki.
New. We just needed him for coding, replied Hatchan.
Vice captain. The entire crew was shocked after learning Rayleigh's true identity.
They all realized it suddenly, but it seems Robin had known it for a long time.
Oh my, you didn't notice? She asked. I know that name all too well. It's in so many books. Exclaimed Usopp and Nami, tears silently flowing from their eyes. It's definitely a name that everyone's heard of at least once, said Sanji. Listening to this name made Frankie remember something. Gold Roger, I remember a rookie by that name. Or maybe not, said Brooke.
Every member of the Pirate King's crew looked at the pages of the manga, holding their breath because the current events were talking about them.
What does this skeleton mean when he says rookie? Oh, right. The Rumbar crew is a very old pirate crew.
No doubt I had just started my journey with Rayleigh at the time when they were at the end of theirs, wahaha. I didn't expect that the day would come when I would hear someone call me a rookie, even when I am Gold Roger. I had a start that someone like Brooke happened to hear about, just like the first wanted poster Luffy got. It might be the first wanted poster I got that Brooke happened to see.
What's Rayleigh saying?
Ray. Your counterpart in the manga seems to have noticed how extraordinary Luffy really is.
This conversation seems very interesting.
Look at the size of the shock on their faces when they realized that they were talking with a living legend.
Wahahaha.
Rayleigh adjusted his glasses and said with a smile, I wanted to find out the reason for my strange friendship with Fishman. My counterpart said that Hachi saved him from a shipwreck.
Strange, was I injured so that I could not swim?
Anyway, it doesn't matter the reason as much as the result. This Fishman is very kind. There is no doubt that he really saved you when you were in a bad situation, Roger replied. Look at Sanji's question, it seems to be the right moment to challenge the lies of the world government, wahahaha. Suddenly, I would like to see the expressions on the faces of the 5 elders after seeing this chapter.
But Gold Roger was executed 22 years ago. They didn't get you, the vice captain.
Sanji asked about the reason for Rayleigh's ability to escape the Navy's pursuit.
We weren't caught. Roger gave himself up.
The government, as a show of power, may have acted like they had captured him.
The Pirate King gave himself up. Why? Asked Nami. Because he could see the end of our journey. About 4 years before the public execution.
Roger came down with a terminal disease, Rayleigh said with sorrow as if recalling it made him suffer.
Captain Roger, is what Rayleigh says true? That can't be right.
Of course, right? Not all crew members knew about the deadly disease that their captain had previously contracted. It was something that only Rayleigh, Gaban, and the ship's Dr. Crocus were aware of. The likes of Bullet, Shanks, Buggy, and the others, they didn't know anything about it, probably until the last 2 years of their journey aboard the Oro Jackson. Not to mention the Whitebeard crew who were ignorant of the real situation all the time. When they saw what Rayleigh said in the manga, they were also shocked. For what purpose do you send yourself on a plate to the hands of the Navy?
Garararara. Isn't it obvious, my children, this man known as the Pirate King is more dangerous if he is on the verge of death? Whitebeard laughed and gave a comment to the core.
His friendly appearance and cute mustache do not tempt you, he is a demon more terrifying than real demons.
Hearing this, Rouge was clearly annoyed by Newgate's words.
Which part of him looks like demons? She asked.
Oh.
Whitebeard stopped drinking his sake before he raised an eyebrow with interest.
Rouge's expression was like an angry cat. Well, Gorarara. You have a good wife, Roger.
Seeing this, Roger laughed, before patting his wife's head and saying, Don't take Newgate's words too seriously, he's not the only one calling me a demon, but it doesn't diminish my value in any way. Creating a great pirate age is an act that only demons do. Saying this, he turned around to confront his crew members and reassure them. It's okay, guys, the reason Crocus left the crew and returned to Twine Cape is that my illness has already been cured. In this world, I will not die from the disease.
OOOH, the entire crew members exclaimed. Marine Ford. Boom. Damn you.
Sengoku shouted as he almost broke the wooden board with a slap. These Roger Pirates bastards are still causing trouble even in the manga. All that feeling of pride that was fed to us in the first chapter of the manga was just nonsense. We didn't catch Roger with our strength, it was he who turned himself in.
Isn't that obvious, Sengoku, boahaha? Don't you say that you don't know very well that it's impossible to catch Roger even if he's sick? But, why did the manga reveal this truth now?
This is equivalent to a prolonged slap in our face.
Did Rayleigh take steroids? He did not stop pouring out everything he knew. This is not what a mysterious legendary character should be.
Well. At least the crime of creating the Great Pirate Age and linking it to Roger has been confirmed in the first place. That's excellent. That wraps up this part of What If Becoming a Mangaka in One Piece World.
Thanks so much for listening.
As always, new parts drop every 4 days, so be sure to stay tuned. Also check out my Patreon channel for early releases of all the series, where you can find all the series released one day ahead of YouTube. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to like, subscribe, share it with your friends, and please consider supporting the original author as well.
See you in the next one.